This video gives you the information you need to paddle one of New Brunswick and Maine's premier whitewater rivers, which is the St. Croix River. The St. Croix River sits right at the border between Canada and the United States, and it's a great little river to paddle on. It's got some intermediate whitewater on it, and it is a well organized waterway for wilderness tripping.
Nice.
So you can see the river here, some nice rapids here. This little video was shot in June. The water levels were actually quite low here, so usually you get a little bit more wave action. But nevertheless, you can see there's some great Class 2 rapids here. There is one Class 3 rapid, but the portages are well marked, and if you don't like the look of any of the rapids, you can go over them. Also, the St. Croix River, because it's at the border, it's quite undeveloped. You see the odd fishing lodge and you see the odd cabin, but for the most part, it's a wilderness river and you see wildlife on it. This trip here, we didn't see anybody. Well, we saw two fishers. It really is a spring run, so that's when you should check it out.
Way to go.
I would say as well that it's a good river. It's mostly drop and pool, so you don't get yourself into a lot of big trouble on the river. It's also dotted with provincial parks on the Canadian side. So if you're a Canadian and you might want to bring a passport in case you stray over to the American side because you're going back and forth the whole time. But there's plenty of camping spots on the Canadian side. It's first come, first served. But there's lots, and then the provincial parks have tons of sites all the way down. Here's a map of the area, so you can see this black line is the border between New Brunswick and Maine. It's also a border for a time. There's a time zone difference. So, if you're looking at your satellite phone or something, as you cross one side of the river to the other, you actually get an hour jump, which is pretty interesting. And again, if you're Canadian, you really shouldn't just camp on the American side and vice versa. You're supposed to kind of keep to the side of the river that you have a valid passport for. The route that I'm recommending is from on the American side. You can see here it's Vanceboro. On the Canadian side, it's the community of St. Croix. There's a dam there. There's also a border crossing there. But you put in just downstream of the dam, and there's a beach there, and with bathroom facilities as well, and ample parking. And then you can basically go down the river all the way down to Grand Falls. So there's a dam there, as you can see here, Grand Falls Dam. So there's a takeout on the Canadian side just upstream of that dam. And so from dam to dam, that's a fantastic trip. You can do it in a weekend. I would say give yourself 3 or 4 days to do it nice and leisurely, enjoy the wildlife and enjoy the whitewater. Here's a closer look at the put-in that I was mentioning. So here is the border crossing. You take this little road down, and here is the parking area with washrooms and everything else where you put your canoe in. And here, I'll put the GPS coordinates in the description of the video. And here, same thing, here is the takeout. There's a little road here, and I don't know if you can see those GPS coordinates, but I'll put them also in the description so you can set your Google Maps or navigation to it, which worked fine for us. So we were shuttling our own boats on our last trip there, and it worked fine to follow Google Maps from one to the other. The round trip was about a little over an hour, I think. It's absolutely essential to have a good canoe map whenever you're going. The canoe map for the St. Croix River, as you can see from the website here from Canoe, New Brunswick, is sold out. Anyway, this is a great little map. It's got all the details and all the campsites on it. So you should try and get your hands on that, maybe order one online and get that. They're hard to find. Like you won't find them just in a store like that. There's also a website on the St. Croix International Waterway Commission, which they tell you to plan your trip. If you're planning on camping in a provincial park, then you're supposed to get a park pass and pay for camping. It is first come, first served. On the river, you just camp where you like at designated campsites, but you don't have to make a reservation. So that's cool, but you should check that out there. And if you're planning on fishing, make sure you've got a license for that, and this website will tell you how to get that as well. And then finally, there is at Vanceboro a water gauge that gives you the height and the flow of the river. 400 cubic feet per second is probably a little bit on the low side, but generally a spring run. So there you go. That's the information about the St. Croix River between New Brunswick and Maine. It's a good medium river, nothing too technical. There is one class 3, as I mentioned, and it's a great wilderness experience. So I hope you get out there, and if you do, maybe I'll see you.